Hello Smooth On and Smooth On fans. Today I'm going to show you how I made these scented candles for the holidays. To create the Christmas tree shape, I will use a foam cone as an armature, a medium hardness non-sulfur oil-based modeling clay, and a set of sculpting tools. I start by applying a thin layer of clay over the entire foam shape. It's a little rough at first, but I will smooth it down by hand once the entire piece is covered. Next, I roll out 3 coils of clay to the desired thickness to use as skirt sections on the tree and attach them firmly to the base. Lastly, I divide each skirt into 8 sections and form them into points. I'll continue to adjust and smooth the sculpture until I'm happy with its final appearance. Okay, now that our piece has been sculpted, we're ready to make the mold. I will secure the sculpture to a melamine board, apply a coat of clear acrylic, and use a plastic deli container as a mold box. To start, I've rolled out a coil of clay, which I will press into the base of the sculpture, affixing it to the melamine board. I'm not sure how much silicone the mold will use, so I decided to sculpt a small Christmas tree to make scented wax tarts in case I have extra mold rubber. Next, I apply 3 coats of clear acrylic, which will make the pieces easier to remove from the mold. After removing the bottom of the deli container, I noticed that it is just a little too small for my sculpture. I will use strips of clay to build a 1/2-inch wall around the base. Next, I secure the deli container firmly to the clay wall, making a watertight seal. I'll repeat these steps for the small tart piece using a cut paper cup. To make the molds, I will use a small kit of Moldstar 15 silicone. I have a flat-bottomed metal stir stick and a pail for mixing, as well as paper towels for cleanup. Part A of the silicone is pre-mixed and poured into the mixing container. This is repeated for Part B. Moldstar 15 is mixed equal parts by volume. I mix the 2 parts together until there are no visible streaks. Once mixed, I pour the silicone slowly in a thin stream just inside the wall of the mold box. One of the reasons I chose Moldstar 15 for this project is that it does not require vacuuming prior to pouring. Pouring slowly will allow any trapped air to break and also prevent bubbles from forming against the surface of the sculpture. This pour took about 10 minutes to complete. I was left with just enough silicone to do the tart mold. It's been just over 4 hours. Our mold is cured. Let's make some candles. Here I've gathered the tools and supplies for pouring the candle and tart, including a pillar blend wax, fragrance, and dye. I'll start by removing the wall from the cured mold. I need to make a cut in order to remove the sculpture. With a sharp blade starting at the base, I cut through the mold wall. Cutting in a zigzag pattern will help register the seam back together. While demolding, I noticed that the top of the tree is stuck slightly because of the undercuts at the tips. To remedy this, I make small incisions in the mold until I can comfortably remove the piece. Next, I need to run a wick through the center of the mold. I'll start by threading the wick through an upholstery needle. I push the needle into the base of the mold and pull the wick through. Two rubber bands hold the mold closed. I'll tie a knot at the end of the wick, then use a small piece of clay to plug the hole. A wire cooling rack accommodates the wick protruding from the mold and allows it to sit flat for casting. I've fashioned a clip from 2 craft sticks and rubber bands. This will hold the wick straight. The small tart mold is easily demolded, then placed next to the large mold. Next, I weigh out 1 pound of soy wax flakes into a pouring pitcher and 1 ounce of fragrance into a paper cup. Once a pot of water is boiling, I reduce the heat for a slow simmer and submerge the pitcher of wax. A digital thermometer will alert me when the wax reaches its pour temperature. Once the wax is a few degrees above pour temperature, it is ready for color and fragrance. I add 10 drops of hunter green liquid candle dye. The Scotch pine fragrance I've chosen for this project smells wonderful in the warm wax. I'll fill the large mold just past the first skirt section, then rotate the molten wax to fill the tips. I do this again for the second skirt section. I fill the rest of the large mold and all of the small mold. In a few hours, the wax is set and I can demold the candle. The wick is trimmed and the candle is finished. Online, similar handcrafted candles can sell between $10 to $20 a piece. These cost me about $3 in materials and about $35 to make the molds. If I give out about 8 of these for the holidays, I say I'm doing pretty good for myself. So hopefully today you've learned a little bit more about how to make your own handcrafted scented candles.